Hi there and welcome to Moontime Wisdom Part 1, Getting to Know Your Cycle. In this video I'm going to explain 3 things that you can do to become more attuned and to really engage with your menstrual cycle. So the first thing that you can do is to change the way you describe your period. Period, menses, menstruation, they're kind of rather clinical terms and really don't describe what's really going on. So they also lend to the fact that it's also a purely biological process, which we all know it isn't. It's an emotional, physical and sometimes spiritual release as well. So what we can do is shift what we actually call it. Personally, I call my time of bleeding Moontime, as a growing number of women do, and that's because our menstrual cycle reflects the cycle of the moon. So calling it Moontime really brings us into awareness that we are part of a greater cycle of nature, part of a greater cycle of creation. And resistance to this does tend to leave us in pain on many levels, really. So I encourage you to experiment with what you want to call it and see how it goes. Okay, the second thing that you can do is to chart your cycle. Now you probably already do this, but what you can do is have a look where the moon phases are when you bleed and when you ovulate, which is about 14 days after the first day you bleed. So I've put a link to a lunar calendar just below the video or in the article, so that you can look back in your diary, and when you're bleeding and ovulating, as I've said, just mark in the phases of the moon. And look, there's no right or wrong time to bleed, but all you need to do is just to notice any patterns, and over the coming months notice where the moon is at these 2 points in your cycle. Okay, the third thing that you can do, which I totally love doing, it really helps, is to plan some time just to be when you're bleeding. Personally, I just clear 3 days when I know Moontime is coming, and I do whatever I want. It's great. That may mean lying with a hot water bottle, it might mean listening to some music, it might mean drawing or writing poetry, it might mean just watching a cheesy movie as well. So I encourage you to mark your next Moontime in your diary and plan as much time as is practically possible, even if it's just an afternoon or an evening to start with, for yourself to just be and experiment with. You really try and tune in with what you need in that moment. So I'd love to know how you get on with all of this. I hope it's been useful, and I will see you in part 2.